Welcome to episode 4 of Running on Thin Air podcast. I have a special couple of guests today. I am sitting with Lydia and Maggie Breitenstein. And if you haven't guessed by all the shirts, we are talking Javelina. So all of us are running Javelina this year. Maggie has her crew shirt from last year, and we are here to talk about it, all our pre-race fun and enjoyment and what we're looking forward to and maybe what we're nervous about. And then we'll follow this up. Episode 5 will be after the race, and we'll talk about everything that we experienced and share that with everyone. So really excited to be here today. Maggie, Lydia, how are you both doing today?
So great. Happy
Feeling
to
good?
be here.
It's like very rainy in Colorado today, so it's
Yeah.
a perfect day to podcast.
Perfect day to podcast. It wasn't a great day for heat adaptation in preparation for Javelina, right? So I thought that on my run today. I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, this feels good. I'm not sure it's going to benefit me a whole lot when it comes to race day, but we do what we can. Well, thank you both for joining. You're both, of course, return guests, and I want to get it out to start as well. You both are coached by me. We've been working together for over a year, so I just don't want there to be any secrets out there. So we've had a long relationship and certainly enjoy it. So this is just going to be an open conversation. I've got a handful of questions, but really, I just want this to be back and forth, and this will hopefully give people that might want to race Javelina or are racing Javelina this coming year things to think about for their race. Maybe just some advice for them. And hopefully it's just to get excited about it. I'm really excited about this race. Again, this will be my second year, at least attempting it. And so I'm excited to see how it goes. But let's start off with the questions. First of all, and we'll kind of rotate back and forth. So Maggie, you're on my left, so I'm just going to start with you and then we'll go to Lydia. But what was your reason for signing up, one, for 100K? You haven't done an ultra before. And then also, why Javelina? Why did you pick this race?
Good question. Okay, so why I signed up for 100K is, well, I've been running for, I guess, 12 years now. And so you keep chasing goals after goals after goals. My big goal was Boston, and you got me there, which I actually signed up for the 100K before Boston. But I'd done a couple marathons, and I'm like, okay, what's next? I get bored of things pretty quickly, so got bored of the marathons, moved on to the next big one, an ultra, and we decided to do the 100K together because it was Javelina. So I probably could have taken a bit of a smaller baby step instead of the big leap from marathon to 62 miles instead. Could have done like a 50 in there or something. But because you, Brian, went to Javelina last year and Lydia did the 30K, 31K.
Yeah.
I got to see how much of a fun environment it was and all the Halloween costumes, and it was just like a rave of a race all day. And it was really fun being on the crew side of things and seeing all the runners. It was really inspiring. So it just seemed like a fun, special race to do the first 100K, and especially because Lydia wanted to do it and we wanted to do it together, and you're doing it again, part 2 for Brian. So it just seemed like the perfect time to do an ultra.
Awesome. Love it. Lydia, what about you?
Yeah, pretty similar. Except I remember the moment last year I decided I was going to do it. I was racing the 31K Jackass night trail run at Javelina. And I was running next to Annie, and I told her, I'm like, Annie, if I try and sign up for the 100K next year, punch me. And I could tell while I was running the course, I'm like, I totally know in a year from now I'll be running 3 laps. And I don't know if it was me or you, Mags, who like put the bug in each other's ear, or if it was kind of both of us at the same time. But I know I knew at last year's Javelina, just because of the environment, like Maggie mentioned, it's just a giant party. And I figured you'd want some revenge, Brian, and that you'd be back. So, and it's just so great to be able to see your crew 3 different times in the same headquarters space. So something to look forward to every lap. And It's only 3 laps. It's basically 1 lap.
Only 3.
It's only 3.
That's how it
Only
works.
3 20-mile laps. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second one, that's really the only one that counts.
I love it. The ultra math comes out early in the episode. So, question, did Annie ever punch you?
No. She needs to. I
Well,
knew
it's
immediately.
too late now. Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't even give me any slack.
And shout out to Annie. We love her. She's going to be joining the crew for the 31K again with her husband and some family members. So we're excited to see Annie again as well. And maybe she'll give you a punch on lap 2 or 3, something like that, and sort of make
Keep
up
me
for
awake.
it. Let's talk about crew real quick. What do you all have planned for crew? So I think it's fun to share. You know, some people go out this solo and don't have any crew, or use just the crew stations that are there and the people in the aid stations. Some people have crews. What are both your plans? How do you plan on running the race and other support besides each other? Lydia, go ahead, Maggie. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Lydia's the more organized one. So on the crew side of people being organized, she kind of put a spreadsheet together. And so I kind of followed along, and I'm like, okay, I think how I'm going to do this is just have a bin at the headquarters and print off a sheet list for Andy, my fiance, and our parents, and just be like, okay, when we arrive, ask me if I want to brush my teeth, ask me if I want to take a body wipe shower, ask me if I want to change my shoes, like just ask me all these questions and I'll tell you yes or no, and you're going to know, like, okay, in the bin, there's the toothpaste, there's extra contacts, eye drops, all that stuff. But Lydia, I think you might be a little more organized in this aspect.
Well, I was also thinking too of like, who is there? Because we have our parents, Maggie's fiance, and then a ton of my friends are coming down to support from both Colorado and back home in Ohio, and one friend from Utah. So it's going to be so special having people there. I think I have been selective in my cheer squad. I know these people can like bring on the heat for me and make me feel inspired and like keep going and excited to see them every lap. So it's going to be great. I think we have like 10 or 12 people coming.
I think you have 10 or 12 people. I am bringing 1.
I have 0 this year.
Brian, well, you get all of ours.
Yeah. They're all excited for you.
Lydia has enough for everybody in the race.
That's right. Speaking of, are you guys going to use pacers at some point? Well, you can only do it on lap 3 for the 100K. So do you plan to use pacers?
Guess who's providing them?
Surprise,
Lydia.
surprise.
Yeah, our 2 really good friends, Britt and Leah, are going to pace us.
You're 2 really good friends, but I'll become really good friends with them after.
Maggie's going to really get to know them. But Leah was the podcast before this one, I think.
Episode 3. Yeah.
And Britt is my first Strava friend. We were connected through Strava. So she has remained Britt Cole runner in my phone. So I'm never taking the runner parentheses away. She's now forever just my runner friend. She's a lot more than that now, but
yeah,
I love them dearly, and they are, oh my gosh, they're the best hype women ever. So they will be getting us through walk or crawl or hopefully running.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, if anybody watched episode 3, they'll certainly get that vibe from Lydia and understand why you have her as a pacer too, because she is amazing. I don't know Britt as well, but when I have met her, she seems awesome as well. So that's going to be a great crew. Yeah. Have you told them what to expect? So I know, and I think we shared it probably before, Maggie, you paced me unknowingly when the race started. But I was so slow last year that you were able to start on my 3rd and ended up being my final lap of the 100-mile attempt. Have you all prepped Leah and Britt for what pacing a 20-mile lap might be like?
Yeah. I told them, because we really have no idea what time they'll start. If it's a perfect, great day, they could start before sunset. Most likely it'll probably be after the sun is set or just about right then. And so, headlamps, they have to be ready to see me at my worst and see Maggie at my worst. That's kind of my biggest fear, is like, I have no idea what I'm going to be like, because this is all uncharted territory for me too. So,
Yeah.
And I think they're both very great runners and are familiar with the community and what the ultra scene is. And so I have no doubt that they'll be able to handle that, but it's a big commitment, because it could turn into, keeping us standing, keeping us, going forward and not getting lost, or, I'm picturing us just like stumbling around, which hopefully isn't the case. Hopefully we'll be kind of with
That
it.
is not going to be happening.
I don't think that's going to be happening. No,
I don't know.
do
I
not.
was like prepping them for the worst.
Unless you plan on drinking, but
it is possible at Javelina, if that's what you're interested in. I don't recommend it personally, but some people do.
thanks.
It's a bad decision.
Maggie, what advice would you give? Because let's be honest, you had a long slog of a walk with me. It was a walk, a power hike at times.
Yeah.
Very little
And
running in the middle of the night.
I will forever remind you that it was the best 6 hours of my life. Probably not yours, but I had a lot of fun regardless.
Yeah.
I guess advice I would give, well, kind of flashback to before I was pacing you and your miles 40 to 60 last year. I was freaking out because I didn't know how to help you. I was talking to your pacer that flew there to be your lap 4 and 5 pacer.
Wade,
to take you through miles 60 to 100. So when I found out that I could pace, like you just walk up to the tent and say, hey, I want to be a pacer, they just hand you a bib, and that was easy. I thought it was something like you had to sign me up for. So when I found out I could pace, I was really excited, but I was so nervous. And I asked Wade all these questions like, should I talk to him? Do I try to get him to run if he's walking? Like, what do I do this whole time? And it ended up not being anything, strategic at all. It was more so like, I just had to gauge, like, were you ready to have a conversation, or were you just wanting to, like, be silent? No talking, because, you were, at mile 50 in your ultra marathon, and I was at mile 10. Like, I was feeling great. So it was more so just gauging what you needed. And when we went to the cruise stops, there were 3 of them along the way besides headquarters, or there are 4.
3 besides
there's 3
headquarters.
Yeah. And it was just when we got to the aid stations, it was, hey, do you want some ramen? Do you want this? Do you want that? Like, you sit down and I'll go get it for you. So hopefully that was helpful for you. And I think that would be really helpful for our crew to just kind of like, ask us what we need and go get it for us, so we could put our legs up for 5 minutes instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you bring up a good point, and hopefully people that have pacers do talk to them before the race and tell them what to expect. You didn't have that luxury because you had no idea that was going to happen. But Wade had done that with me, and he ended up not being able to pace me, unfortunately. He was a great crew to have, of course, there, because he's a very experienced ultra runner as well. But he had asked those things. Do you want to talk? Do you not want to talk? Do you want to talk about stuff we always talk about? What new topics do you want to talk about? Do you want to be funny? Do you want to be serious? Like, he was asking some of those questions in advance, and sometimes that's important. I think one piece of advice, and I don't know if I did this to you, Maggie, so hopefully if I did, you took it the right way, but there might be times when you're happy talking and then something just switches and you're like, don't talk to me anymore. Like, please. And it's probably not a personal thing, but there is a potential, just, your mind at that distance into a race, you really don't know what to expect sometimes. So I hope for the Pacers out there that might be listening, don't take things personally, especially when you're, in this particular case from miles 40 to 60 or maybe 40 to 100 with a runner. It's probably not a personal issue. It's probably just your mind goes through a lot when you're that deep into the miles. So anyway, just one piece of advice out there for folks. But, Maggie, you did a great job. You didn't have any, like you said, you really didn't know what to do except for what Wade gave you some advice to do. And it was funny because I think the first time we got to a flat because you climb a while coming out of the headquarters, we got to a flat and you're like, we should run here. Wade said we should run on the flat. So I'm telling you to run. So
yeah, I was so scared. I didn't want to be that person that's like, you need to run, and I had no idea what you were feeling like. So yeah, Wade said the downhills and the flats, make him run. So I tried.
You did. You honestly, you did pretty good until, there just came a point when I couldn't run anymore for some strange reason. And so we kind of failed. But, the other thing you did well, which I think was important, because after I had a minor injury. I mean, it didn't end up being a long-term injury, but it was injured enough to where I wasn't able to run anymore. So I knew I wasn't going to make cutoff for the fifth and final lap. So there was no reason for me to continue after we finished lap 3. But you were helpful there. You recognized, you still tried to push me to run on occasion and say, hey, let's just give it a quick try. And it really didn't work out. And that's okay. But you were understanding and you stuck by me and kept pushing me through as fast as we could go, which wasn't very fast at that point. I think you offered to support me a couple of times, like physically support me. And I thought,
oh, yeah,
I thought,
well, it was so dark and you went down that one little hill and I'm like,
yeah. And I thought, Maggie, I'm probably twice your weight. I don't I don't want to smash you. If I start falling, that's not going to be fun. So,
well, for all of the listeners, I want you guys to know that Brian literally limped for 13 miles.
Oh, no, I think
10?
it was under 10 because we had left, Jackass Junction.
Okay.
And we started running a little bit. Probably not very far, but on the nice buttery smooth trail, which was great. And then I had to stop for a nature break, and I just my knee just didn't work after that for whatever reason. That's all it took was to stop for 20 seconds. So yeah, it's probably 8 or 9 miles.
But you really persevered. Yeah, you were hobbling for hours. I don't know how you did it.
Well, that's why I'm surprised you thought it was the most fun 6 hours of your life, because it does not seem like a fun 6 hours to me.
Well, you could still talk. Your voice box wasn't broken. That's what was the fun part.
That is true. That is true. What was both of your favorite aid stations? I know, Lydia, you saw it from a racer's perspective last year. Maggie, you saw it from a crew perspective. But do you have a favorite of the aid stations? Maybe let's leave out, I mean, I guess you could use headquarters, but headquarters just has a different feel because there's so many people there. Did you have another one outside of headquarters that might have been one of your favorites, Lydia?
Jackass, that's the halfway point, right?
Yeah.
Or the 10 mile. Yeah. I mean, that one's so fun. That's like a second party. And it was just like this oasis in the darkness. And you feel like you're almost there for like 3 miles.
Oh my gosh.
It was nuts. I was like, wait, we should be there. Like, we just turned this corner and then it's there and then it wasn't. And then, so we could hear it and like see the lights, but it just took so long to get there.
Yeah.
But that one was so fun. And only having to do 1 lap. It was a fun halfway point. I was maybe feeling a little too confident because I did a fireball shot, or Annie and I did a fireball shot last year. And we were like, yeah. And then we start running again. And I was like, it's going to come back out one. And I don't know which. I'm either going to throw up or something else. And neither of those happened. I kind of stayed strong, but we started running pretty soon after we did those shots. And they didn't sit too well in the tummy, but
I can't imagine.
It was just so fun. Everyone was so cheerful. And we also, right before we got there, We being a jackass night trail runner, you start obviously after dark, and the rest of the 100Kers or 100 milers are still going. And you feel horrible passing them because you're so full of energy. And I know I'm going to hate these people. I'm just kidding. This year, we had some interesting, we would tell everyone good job that we passed, but you could tell some of them are a little grumpy because they're like, they are so cheerful and so full of life, and they're like on their deathbed. And so I know that's going to come back to bite me this year, because maybe not, but we met this guy right before Jackass who was doing the 100 miles. And this man was running faster than we were and talking, and we were going uphill, and we were losing him because he was so full of energy. He was so proud of himself. He's like, I'm beating what I thought I would do by hours. And we're like, you're
Wow.
crushing it. Like mile 80 something, like about to be done. And he looked great. So
That's awesome.
that guy was awesome. But yeah, it's a party. The other ones were kind of a blur. They're just kind of, they're little, and you just make it to them and keep going.
Yeah. Maggie, same thought from you, or do you have a different opinion?
Same thing. I honestly don't really remember the first stop and the third stop, but Jackass, you remember because of I think they had a huge skeleton with the lights and the music, and someone was cooking burgers. So that one was the most memorable for me. The other two, I can't even picture in my head right now what those look like. So yeah, I'd say Jackass was the most fun.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the other aid station volunteers are amazing. I spent plenty of time at both of those as well. And so it's not a lack of good volunteers. It's just they make Jackass Junction a bigger party than the other two. And I don't know if it's just ease to get to, or if it's just like, hey, you made it sort of up the loop and now you have to return back down the loop. So let's make it a bigger party up there. But yeah, they have Pete's Meats making burgers and everything else that you could think of on a grill. And it's just a totally different vibe up there, which is good. It's nice to get after 10 miles slogging your way up a hill and then getting ready to go back down. Not that it's a steep hill, but it feels like it when you're a couple laps in.
Oh, yeah.
If there are two things that you're on your mind right now, and I should have said this at the beginning, record date, it's October 6th. So we're still just under 3 weeks from race day. So this will probably be released closer to about 2 weeks from race day. But at least at this point, being about 3 weeks out, what are the top one or two things that might be on your mind as we approach the race? Maggie, why don't we start with you?
Top one or two things on my mind. I think, is it worries or just anything about the race in general?
Anything. Yeah, just anything, either maybe waking you up at night or something you're thinking about in the afternoon when you're at work that just is creeping into your head that you're thinking about with the race.
I would say, can my knees handle being on my feet that long? That's kind of been on my mind a lot, especially since the run yesterday and even the one before that, like the 4 hour plus runs. I'm kind of like, okay, how am I gonna get, if I'm in pain, like it's not just gonna go away. And so I'm kind of worried, is it gonna last all the way through, like from hour 3 until hour 16? Like, am I gonna be in pain that whole time? So that's what keeps me up at night.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I think about often is, well, probably the next one would be where I'm going to take my potty breaks, because I am a frequent pottier. But I'm not going to talk about that one. So I could say number 3 would be fueling. It's kind of like, that's got to be something that we've got to think about all the time and be prepared for and make sure you have enough of, because you're not going to make it that whole time if you don't fuel properly. So that's one of my my biggest things that I think about. Also, you can probably cut this out if this is oversharing, but I had a dream the other night that I was in an ultra with Lydia and some of my friends, and we were like going through beaches, and I remember being so worried because we would just sit at the beach and like enjoy ourselves. And I'm like, guys, we have a race to run. And so we had gone like 5 miles in the first 15 hours. And I'm like, we still have 55 more miles. We gotta get going. So apparently I'm worried that I'm gonna take too long at the aid stations.
That's
The
awesome.
dreams have started.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the anxiety dreams.
Yeah. Those aid stations are not beach-like. They're nice,
Yeah.
but
We'll want to move along, I'm sure.
yeah. One thing I think the three of us have talked about it separately, but I've heard it from Trail Society is when I first heard it. So I don't know if it was one of them that came up with it first, but especially probably for ladies is watch for the pokey and sharp pokey and bitey objects, especially in the desert. If you're going for a potty break and you don't make it in a toilet. So there's lots of those things that might not work out very well. So
Yeah.
it's always something to keep in mind. Lydia, how about you? Do you have a couple things that are keeping you up at night? Not necessarily in a bad way. You can wake up thinking excited things too. So I don't want to make this a negative connotation necessarily.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's still just a like, how am I going to do this? And I feel the last couple weeks, especially in training, was the first time I felt like, oh, I think I can for sure. So that's been really cool. What still gets me, so 2 weeks ago, my 4-hour long run, I felt amazing. I thought I could do the distance I did double for sure. Like I ended and I was like, wow, I could keep rolling. This weekend's long run was a different story. I ate the same thing I did the week before, this at the same time intervals. And after 3 hours, I was done. Like I could not, I had such bad GI distress, and I ended up not fueling the rest of the run just to keep my tummy happy. I still had liquids, but the solid carbs I couldn't handle. So I think I am just in awe at how everything can change in a day or a week. Like it totally, I mean, a lot of it's out of our control too. I think the weather 2 weekends ago, it was cooler and, but I thought it would be harder. I was at higher altitude. It was hilly, like way more elevation. And then this weekend it was a little warmer, and which is frightening because Javelina is going to be warm. So, I think just the difference in a week in my training runs. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I definitely finished though, and I was happy to be done. I wasn't like, oh, rah, let me keep going.
Rah. I'm going to expect you to say that at mile 40 on our last lap. Rah. Here we go.
But you know, this last week was the first one where I said goodbye to the friends I had for that run and still had about 3 hours left. So mentally that was really challenging.
Yeah.
Whereas on race day, like I'll have Maggie the whole time. I don't know if we mentioned this, but we're planning on running it completely together. So I think Maggie, you're truly going to be like a lifesaver this whole time. And I think with the both of us, like, yes, it's my legs and it's a solo event, but it's really not, because we have each other and then we have our whole crew who's helping us every time we come in and when we can't do things for ourselves. So everything, the harder training runs, I mean, I was out there completely alone after a little bit. So, you know, I think there's worries, but then there's also like on race day, you'll have all this help. Whereas when we're training, I mean, I was kind of just out there on my own, and I had to, you know, pack everything. And the GI thing didn't work out and I had to find a restroom in the middle of nowhere. And so it was, there's a lot of things too that I think will fuel race day. You get some bonus miles in there just with the environment and the people.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. And obviously blisters, I worry about those. But more than anything, I'm excited. I want to do it.
Yeah. Well, what are you most excited about? So I'll go to that. You could say crossing the finish line. I'm sure that's exciting for everybody, right? Is getting that 100K belt buckle and getting it past you. But is there something else that is super exciting for you about this event or this race?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Okay.
Then we'll go to Maggie.
Sweet. Yeah, I think this, I don't know if this kind of counts, but showing our friends and family like what we were training for and having people there to see all that hard work come together and support us. And they're incredible people and who I love very dearly for coming down and spending their weekend to do this and spending their time and money. And it just means the world. And I'm really excited to share that with them and hopefully spread the virus, the contagious aspect of ultra running. I know Leah is already thinking about what she wants to sign up for next year. And I heard whisperings of the 50-mile distance. So I think we got one of them. But I think that part really excites me is it's like sharing something you love with the people you love. And that's always super rewarding and fun. And I'm also excited to spend 12 to 15 hours with my sister running. Usually she is so much faster than me on road races. So I am so lucky that she is going to hang back with me for this one.
Lydia, this is a 62-mile race. What do you think I'm going to do different than you?
I don't know.
We're on the same playing field now.
We've never done one fully together.
Yeah.
We're always in the same race, but you're ahead of me.
Well, this time we'll be together for sure.
Yeah, that'll be great. Maggie, what about you?
I think my two most exciting things are more so in the present. I am excited to just prove to myself that I am a badass. And so is Lydia and so is Brian. But I love pushing my limits and seeing okay, I've got this goal in mind. Can I do it? And I'm really excited to get out there and chase after it. I think that's one of my biggest motivating factors is all right, let's compete against ourselves. And I love competing. And although this isn't a road race where I'm trying to go super fast, this is just a showing of your grit and your bravery and your determination. So I'm really excited to have a different race experience that I can be super proud of in the end. And then the next thing I'm super excited for that I think about probably the most is, in the future, a month or a year or even decades down the line, we can look back on that day and be so happy that we did it. And, I can tell my kids man, your Aunt Lydia did 62 miles together. Who gets to say that?
Yeah.
And the fact that you're doing it too, Brian, and you coached us to get there, I think looking back on things like that just create so much and evolve who you are. And it's just such a fun, unique thing to have. So I'm just excited to be able to talk about it forever and always have that as a memory.
Yeah. It's awesome. A couple things come to mind. First, you both are badass runners. Anybody that follows you both on Strava or sees what you do on Instagram, sometimes too, will know that not just runners, but athletes in general. But this will solidify that if anybody ever has any doubts how badass you both are. I know for sure that you both are. You've done marathons and all sorts of stuff. So this will just be another adventure that you'll be able to chalk up on your list. But the other thing that it just reminds me of what both of you kind of alluded to, which I've talked about a million times is that community aspect. And whether it's friends or people you meet on the trail that you might not know very well, but end up having conversations. I mean, I know people that have made lifelong friendships just by meeting at a race or on a trail somewhere, because you're both experiencing something so challenging and unique that you just don't have that every day. And so to be able to go through that, sort of this, it's not really a tragic thing where sometimes, people build close relationships through tragedy, but you're building close relationships through this challenge that pushes you well beyond oftentimes what you think you might be able to do. And I think there's something special in that as well. But even if it's not, a lifelong friendship, it's just seeing so many other people out there that have been going through the same effort that you have for the last, since we all have been working well over a year. Not that we have planned for this race for well over a year, right? But you've been building that base for so long, and then had this on our mind since January 1st at midnight or whenever we were all scrambling on FaceTime, signing up for this race to make sure we all got in. This has been something that's been on our mind for whatever that is, 280 days or however long it was, 300 days since we signed up, which is insane. But everybody else is in the same boat. So you experience that with, 1,500 of your closest friends out there on that day, and everybody's cheering you on. And it's just, I don't know. It's something I love about trail running and ultra running. I think the endurance community itself is generally just something that's super welcoming and super fun, but I still feel like there's a little niche. Maybe it's just me in the trail and ultra running community that's just a little bit different. And it just, to me, it means so much. And I think you both sort of spoke to that too. And it means something to you. So it is infectious. I wouldn't call it a cult yet, Lydia, but, you said we got another one maybe. So I'm excited if Leah will take on an ultra. But sometimes it almost feels like a cult because we've got this thing that we all share in common, and it's super fun. And a small percent, to your point, Maggie, a small percentage of the people can go back at some point and say, I ran 62 miles in a race in one day. And that sounds insane. And you hear so many people say, that when they tell their friends or family, like, oh my gosh, I don't even like to drive a car that far. But here we're going to spend a day out in the desert running loops to get that mileage in. And it's just, I don't know, there's something really cool about that. So I love it.
Yeah.
Ladies, what questions? I'll open up any questions if you have them for me. We can turn the tables just a little bit. No hard ones. But, if there's any questions you think the audience might like to hear an answer from my perspective, I'd be happy to share anything if you have anything on your mind. No pressure.
Yeah, well, so all my questions are gone because I turned my laptop off. So, but Lydia, if you can remember ones, I think one of them was if you could share, like, for new ultra runners, what's like the one thing you wish they knew, or maybe you see this a lot in new ultra runners that they're like, oh, I wish I could have told you that. It's so easy to fix. But I guess just your biggest piece of advice for newbies.
Yeah. I think, so I got this from Wade probably last year. You can make a plan, can make lots of plans, and we all make plans for 5Ks and 10Ks and even marathons, a pace schedule, aid stations, when I'm eating this gel and when I'm taking in this drink. And you can and should make a similar plan for an ultra. But as soon as that cannon goes off or the gun goes off or however they start you on that journey, that plan has very little use because I feel like it changes so fast and it's unpredictable. You can kind of predict what it's going to be like for a 4-hour marathon or a 3-hour marathon or a 5-hour marathon. But it just gets so much different when you're talking 60 miles or 100 miles. You're going through the middle of the day in the heat. You aren't done at 10 o'clock like a marathon. You might not be done with your first lap at 10 o'clock at Javelina. For a lot of people, I won't be. I can guarantee it. So you have to plan for the middle of the day. You have to plan for going into the night when it might get cold, or it might rain, or it might be 100 degrees in the middle of the day and you haven't been training for 100 degrees. There's just so many different things. Lydia, like you this week, the gels that you used the week before, the nutrition didn't work this week. So the plan is great and you want to have an idea of what you're going into, but you also need to know it's time to throw it away when something doesn't go to plan. And we all hope for that perfect day where everything goes to schedule and you're coming right into, the aid station on when you want to be there. But on events like this, it's just so hard, I think, to have that perfect day. And that's okay. I think what I would tell people is it's okay to change the plan. Have it, but it's there to be changed and it's there to adapt and be able to troubleshoot. And that's how you're going to get through an ultra and be successful, in my opinion, is the successful troubleshooter. And sometimes it might take 2 hours, which sounds silly because most races don't last 2 hours, but it might take you 2 hours to troubleshoot and figure out what you need to do to fix whatever the situation is and move on. And so I think that's what I would tell people. You have a long time to address an issue out there.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
I have more, Lydia, unless you have some. We can switch on and off.
No, you were good.
Okay. Well, the next one is, without sharing everything, or if you don't want to share, Brian, but you've had a lot going on in the past couple months with job and some other things and traveling, and you're training for 100 miles. You're coaching Lydia and I think maybe another person. So how have you been able to, train for 100 miles while also doing all of those other things involved in your life? And you have to be a part of our lives. So how have you overcome that or gotten it done?
The question might be, have I gotten it done? And we'll find out in 20 days or whatever it is. So it's super hard. And one of the reasons I got into coaching, besides just being able to see people grow and achieve accomplishments and, set their sights high for something and help them get there, and how rewarding it is because the everyday athlete, like the three of us, and like Rob, who I'm also coaching, we all have jobs. Like, this is not our job. I wish it was. Gosh, I wish somebody would pay me to run 100 miles. That'd be awesome. But unfortunately, that's not the reality for most of the people. So you have to be flexible. And that's one of the things I like, is building in that flexibility and helping people adapt to when life happens, because life always happens. So, to be a little bit brief, like you said, I started a job 2 months ago. That job is going to move me 1,500 miles away. I am physically moving, starting my drive a week and a day before the race. So that's a 3-day drive to get to our new house, but we will live in a hotel for a week, because we actually don't take possession of the house till after. Well, actually now we take possession of the house on Javelina. So part of the reason my wife is not going to be there this year is she will be getting the keys to our new house while we're all racing. So, it's a very interesting period of time. It's been really hard to get in because moving is super hard. And we've lived in our house for 23 years. So we have 23 years of accumulated good stuff and 23 years of accumulated junk that we had to somehow get rid of. So there were weeks, honestly, where, I was lucky if I got 15 miles in the middle of summer. Getting better now, but I traveled this last weekend and didn't get a lot of miles in. So my long run, while the two of you are now decreasing and going into taper, I adjusted my schedule and I have a long run this weekend. So, I'm pushing it just to 2 weeks before the race, which I had to do last year too. So I think it's something that is fine. But it's hard. And I think trying to fit it in is just something that's a challenge and everybody has to figure out. But if it's important to you, then you find a way to make it happen. And that's what I've done. I think you two are good examples. You both are very busy women, and have a lot, demanding jobs at times and travel and friends and everything else that you do. And we just find ways to adapt and get in something, right, that gets you there. And that's an exciting piece of it, because not only do you finish and say, yeah, I trained for this and that was great. You can look back and say, I trained through this and I had this injury, but I was able to overcome it. Or I, trained for this marathon, or I did this bike ride, whatever it happens to be. And you still got through there, through all the other life changes that happen. And it just makes it that much more meaningful. It makes the journey that much more interesting. It's certainly not boring. And it rarely is for anybody, but, it's just a fun piece of it, I think, to be able to look back on, to your point earlier, Maggie, and say, not only did I cross the finish line, but here's what it took to get me here. And it wasn't just all sunshine and roses. It's not. It's potty breaks in the middle of nowhere, not knowing if you're going to make it. It's suffering through long weeks of, work or home life or whatever it happens to be. And it's a challenge, but that's what makes it more rewarding in the end, I think.
Right.
So I probably rambled on more than what.
No, that was perfect. I think
Yeah.
it's super relatable to so many people, because, I'm sure less than half a percent of the population is a pro runner. So it's not like, I say this all the time, but it is not easy to be a pro runner, but that's their job. That's what they can do every day and dedicate all their time. But if I don't want to call us hobby joggers, because I don't know if hobby joggers just go out and run ultra marathons, but we've got a job to work, 40 plus hours a week, and it's exhausting doing that. And then you have to go and train and make dinner after and get your sleep and still have time for friends or move across the country. Like it's a lot of effort. So I think you should be extra proud of how hard you've worked, Brian.
Well, you both too. What motivates the two of you? Because both of you, without giving away a whole lot, but you both travel a lot for friend trips or weddings or whatever it happens to be. Those weekends are hard, but somehow you both have somehow managed, and I don't know how, on a trip for a wedding or something to go get in 2 hours or 3 hours, which just seems mind-blowing. Maybe I'm too old and I just want to sleep too much, so that sounds really exhausting. But what motivates you guys to do that?
Lyd, you want to go first?
Yeah. It was, I think, honestly, it was thinking of you, Brian, of like, oh, he put together this whole plan for me. I gotta get out and do my work.
I second that.
And like, it's having the it's not motivation, but it's someone who's what's the word?
Accountability?
Yes, having accountability from you as our coach of, I'm never worried like I would disappoint you, but it's I want to do what you're giving me, because this is why. And I also just genuinely love going on these runs, especially if I'm feeling overwhelmed or, I got too much on my plate. A run clears that out. And so many times have I, taken a lunch break at work and gone for runs and came back and was more productive and was able to sit down and focus. Whereas before lunch, I was a mess. I couldn't focus. I couldn't look at anything. And so, that not only applies to just work, but I think life outside work. And, it seems to just be a nice cleanse for me. And so it's a natural thing that I want to do. I mean, there's days for sure where I think Maggie and I did our first 3-hour run together when we were both home in Cincinnati. And I did not want to do that. It was the day after a wedding I was at, and we went wedding dress shopping for Maggie, which was really special that morning. And so we knew our run was going to have to be at night. But after such a long weekend like that, that was the last thing I think both of us wanted to do. But as soon as it started, it felt great. And I got to be with Mags, and it was just an awesome run. And I don't know, you never want to totally go out there and run 4 hours, but after you do it, it feels great. And knowing, I always think about you two on my runs and people in my life, and it's a good time.
Yeah. Love it. Maggie, you have anything to add from your perspective?
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say the first one, it's going to sound bad, but there is a fear factor to it. Like, if I don't train, I'm not going to make it. So it's like, that was super motivating. Like, it almost scared me. Like, I don't know. It was just an extra factor on top of it that, got me out there, because it's like, okay, I really got to do this. This isn't something I can skip. Like, I can't just go, say I'm a little too busy and not do my 3-hour run. Yeah. So like you said, on those weekends, like I had a wedding in Raleigh. So I flew to Charlotte, drove to Raleigh. It was raining all day, the day of the wedding, and I really wanted to get it done before then so I didn't have to think about it. And I just didn't get to it because it's too complicated. And it was a 4-hour run that weekend. And then the next day I was like, okay, we'll drive back to Charlotte early. I'll do my 4-hour run and then I'll fly home. And I'm like, I just got to get it done. So there's always motivation to do it, because I want to do this race and I want to see that finish line. So these maintenance runs, I really not maintenance runs. Those were very important long runs.
Yeah.
I had to get those done in order to make it there. And like Lydia said, I do it for you, Brian, and I do it for Lydia. And also, not to get too sappy, but I always think about the people in our lives, or, people I don't know, that they would do anything to be able to move their legs like we could if they've lost their life. Like, they can't do that anymore at all. Or I think about people in wheelchairs, like they would do anything to be able to do what we do. So it's like, just get out there. If you don't want to do it, suck it up, because somebody out there's just wishing they had one more day to do what you're doing. And that always gets me out there. Without getting too sappy, that is one of my biggest motivators when I'm not feeling it. So
yeah, I love that, actually. Yeah, that's awesome. All good reasons, and reasons to get out there and to continue to push when you don't want to and your life gets in the way and the schedule is busy. It's hard to do sometimes. Maybe one more, if you have one more question. If not, we can wrap up. Maggie's like, oh, I've got one.
I think we should all answer this.
Okay.
Brian, you go first, though.
Okay.
I think the best way to phrase it would be I don't like 80. Let's do mile 90. You're down in the dumps. You need one song to hype you up, get you through the end, whether that plays on repeat the whole time or it's just you need 3 minutes of that song and you're hyped up, ready to go. What's the song?
Wow. So I doubt anybody somebody's going to know this song. I would be surprised if either of you know it. So I'll just say it that way. And I'm weird in that song for me is not about the words. It's not about the lyrics. It's about the beat and what just gets me going. So the song is by a band called Tool, which a lot of young people probably have never heard of. Exactly. Although they still play, and the song is called Pneuma, Pneuma, maybe. Anyway, it just has the rhythm and the beat, and it's like 10.5 minutes long. And it will get me going. And so I will play that on repeat nonstop. As a side note, and this is just, maybe Tool can send me a free album or something. That particular song Danny Carey is the drummer of that band. And there's a video out there of like all these professional drummers and lyricists and everything watching him play this song. So from a drumming perspective, it's quite incredible. And you can see this 10 or 12-minute video of him just playing the drums. But it's that beat that just gets me. So I'll just listen to that nonstop and it'll get me going.
Wow.
At the end of this episode, can you like put that song over a clip of you running just for some, like a highlight reel of Brian listening to Numa?
People have probably seen me sing it. Yeah, I mean, mouth it. I won't sing it out loud because nobody would like that. But I'm sure there are points when I'm singing it and forget that my lips are moving.
Yeah, I love that.
What
Lyd?
about
I think I would put on a Big Booty mix.
I don't even know what that is.
See? Now you could listen to Big Booty. It's a mix. It's an hour-long mix. I like volume 11 the best.
Ooh, 18's the best.
No.
There's 24 of them, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're each an hour long. And it's a mix of great songs. We'll send you the SoundCloud.
Okay.
They're like no other. They've gotten me through drives, through runs. When I have an hour left in my run, I'll play a Big Booty because it lasts an hour.
So these are mixed artists, right? It's different artists and just different songs that are put together. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's by like a DJ.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Awesome. Okay. I'll check it out. Maggie?
Mine, it has always been this song. It will always be this song. It's Highway to Hell by AC/DC.
I think you told me that last year, and I was so surprised you knew who AC/DC was.
Really?
Yes, because that's like, I listened to AC/DC when I was a kid.
It's something about that song, like the beginning. And I'm like, let's go. And then I start running really fast. And it's my favorite.
I love it.
That's awesome.
So
that is great.
We need to stitch everybody to their favorite songs.
Yeah.
For a hype podcast.
Sounds great. You two, this was a blast. I really enjoyed it. Thank you both for taking time. I know it's getting kind of late, but I appreciate you taking time. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of both of you already. We haven't even hit the start line yet, but I'm so proud of both of you because, now after this last week, you both have gotten through all the hard parts of training and the struggles and everything else. And you've come out and you're ready. And I just can't wait I won't see you on the start line because I'll be in front of you by start time, but, you all will pass me before too long, I'm sure, into that race. And I just can't wait to see you both out there on the loops. It's going to be a blast. And I'm so excited for you both. Do you both want to share? We shared socials before. Do you want to share them before? Maggie, you kind of have a new one that you put just for this. Do you want to share that? And I can put it in the show notes as well.
Yes. Everyone, please follow my Ultra Instagram called ultra_bright, spelled BREIT. I'm still on my way to stardom. We're really just starting out here. Got 100 followers, but I'm putting content out weekly. Like, subscribe. It's just a fun place to put videos of us running. Mostly me running, but I like making funny videos sometimes and recaps.
They're fun.
So that's my new one, ultra_bright.
Yeah. They're blessed. Lydia?
I think Strava's my favorite. I think my name on there is just Lydia Breitenstein. I'm sure you'll tag it in the show notes. And then my Instagram, I actually forget it, but it's Lydbreit.
Awesome.
LIDBREIT.
You've only had that account for a decade and a half.
Yeah, but it got hacked once. I had an ad of one. Now I took the one away. So
All that fun. I will add all those. Do go follow. Both of them are fun. Ultra Bright has lots of fun stuff. There's cameo appearances with Lydia. I think maybe I made an appearance earlier.
You're my first video.
So, okay. Yeah. Anyway, it's super fun. They're a blast. Thank you both very much. I'm looking forward to the race, and then I'm looking forward to our follow-up podcast afterwards when we're all probably give us a week after or so to get our brains working fully again. But we'll have another conversation after. So thank you both very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. You're the best.
Thanks. All right.
I'm so excited.
Talk to you both later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good luck.